Hello, everybody. Welcome. Thanks for joining us today, Intuition Network. I'm Natalie Coles, and we're waiting for my sister Amy to join us. And so hopefully she'll be doing that soon. But our guest today, I'm so excited to have her on. This is going to be a great conversation. Make sure that you are sharing it with anybody that you think should hear it. Our guest, let me just get to it. Her name is Beth Newman. And you can see there, evolveinYourEnergy.com is her website. She's also on Facebook and she's on Instagram. And so what I'm going to tell, she's an intuitive healer, teacher, and spiritual business coach. She's a certified instructor and practitioner of ThetaHealing, which we're going to talk about today, Reiki, and also does mentoring and metaphysical workshops. And she is based in Maine. Thank you so much for being here, Beth. I'm excited.
Oh, thank you. I'm excited too. It's really cool that we can be open enough to help others. And this really gets the word out. That's for sure. So thank you as well.
Oh,
and
you're
Amy,
so very welcome.
When she gets here.
Yes, exactly. So I guess the best way to start out is just kind of asking you what got you started on your spiritual journey. What was going on with you at the time? Because usually there is something going on with us that flips that switch on.
Absolutely. I really feel like I didn't have one of those big bangs like a lot of people did. I started realizing I was a little different when I was younger. I was able to manifest things very quickly. I always felt very at ease with what I felt inside. I knew that I was very heart connected to a lot of people. People were very drawn to me. I did have a lot of dreams when I was younger, a lot of what I guess my mother would say were nightmares. I would wake up from them, like not knowing what was happening. And I realized I was actually, and now that I'm a little older and starting to understand things a lot more, is I was actually creating those dreams to keep me safe, to keep all of this scariness away. And so that was really an interesting way to figure out that Barrett's coming, but I thought it was scary. So I was creating fire and dragons and all of these things to kind of keep me safe when I was little. And I just was in my own world most time. I don't think I really interacted. As a young one, I tended to do my own thing and I had my own mindset. And when I wanted something, it just appeared. And I would talk to God all the time, even though I was raised very, very Catholic. I went to Catholic school and I had nuns back then as teachers. And so it was, and then in high school, I had brothers. They taught us. So I was in a very strict environment, but I knew it wasn't natural for me. To me, it was easy to talk to God. I couldn't figure out why they wanted me to talk to a priest about my inner feelings and thoughts. And so that's kind of how it all started.
Wow.
And then as I grew up.
Yep, go ahead.
That's all right. As I grew up, I just started to realize that if I asked God for help, I felt calmer. And I knew that if I stayed positive, I would just receive. And I would receive things that were just amazing. Jobs, money, items, people would come into my life. And I never really was without. I know that sometimes bothers people when I say that. I can really only remember a handful of times in my life that I felt like I didn't have something or I was in total desire and need of something. There were only a few things that ever really stand out in I'm 61 and a half years old and I don't remember many. I just remember that if I wanted it, it was there.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing the the different journeys, because some of what you're saying kind of resonates with some of my journey along the way. I mean, I did not have this hard thing that happened to me, this traumatic thing that happened to me for things to start happening. I think they were slowly happening along the way, and then really trusting and having faith and making decisions based on that is what really I think began really pushing me to that point. So I totally get that.
Absolutely.
So we all are born with certain gifts and different things like that. So you sort of were talking a little bit about that, but what kind of gifts have come up along your journey that you have discovered and probably still are discovering that you have gotten from the Creator?
Right. Well, I always have been pretty clairvoyant because I was able to see right away. I also am clear. My biggest gift that I've always had with me was claircognizant. So I was getting information all of the time. And I think that's why business-wise, I was so successful as well. I would get the information, know the information, and be able to give information to employers or employees where I never knew where it came from. And so the more I've expanded that claircognizant, the clear knowing, as most people know it, my clairvoyance was there. But also I have a little bit of clairaudience, but I don't play with that too much. Sometimes it comes through pretty strong. I guess if I'm not listening well enough, they let me know.
Of course.
But I have a lot of the gifts, and I have many gifts that I'm discovering that, I never knew that they were there. Such as when I was doing Reiki, I was able to smell things. And I was able to explain it to the clients, like, what is the smell of vanilla to you or gardenia to you? What is that? And, they would say, oh, that's my mother. And I'm like, oh, okay. Or it's my sister. So my gifts are always expanding, and I'm always ready for new ones. So that's nice. Oh. And Theta Healing is also opens up all of your gifts because you're going to the Creator constantly. So there's no way for you not to open up and be with your gifts and understanding of your gifts.
Well, that's the funny thing is that that's a perfect lead-in, because that was what I was thinking I wanted to ask you to explain about Theta Healing and how did you come across it? That's a whole thing itself, I know, but can you explain a little so that people know what it is? Sure. And the fact that you also teach and different things like that. So I'll let you take it from there.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So Theta Healing, the founder of Theta Healing is Viana Steibel. So if anyone wants to see that, of course, they can go to my website, and they can also go to ThetaHealing.com to get information about the founder, about different classes, and things like that. Theta Healing is really about limiting beliefs. It's about I look at it as the baggage that we've been carrying around for lifetimes, but also it's the baggage that we find that we're being taught by our family, that we're being taught from the time we're in the womb. By the time that we went to school and we were taught how to do something or the way to do something, we learned these things. We learned those beliefs of right or wrong. But that might have been their right or wrong and not your right or wrong, or not the Creator's truth. So Theta Healing is about finding those limiting beliefs and resolving them and releasing them so that you can move forward with your gifts, with new ideas and thought patterns. And it's all about the thought and the word. One of the things I use all the time is thoughts are energy.
Yes.
And words are magnetic. So when you are thinking thoughts, they're going out to everybody because our natural language is being telepathic. So that energy goes out. But also, if you start really putting words in it, it's going to magnetically come back to you, law of attraction. So it's Theta Healing has really taught a lot of people, including myself, I'm still learning,
Beth,
that, go ahead.
I think Amy's here. Let's see if we can bring her on.
Awesome.
Well, that's a weird one. There we go. That's perfect like that. Can you hear us, Amy?
We're good.
Yeah.
We're good.
Can you talk?
Hi, Amy.
Oh, Beth is
Hi.
just explaining. This is my sister, Amy. So Beth is explaining about Theta Healing. So it's perfect timing.
Awesome. I've been watching. I just couldn't get on. So I know I interrupted.
No,
so
yeah,
thank
Beth,
you.
go ahead. That's okay.
Sure.
Go ahead, Beth.
So Theta Healing works on 4 levels. And those levels are the core, which you learn from basically the time you're in the womb until today. And genetically, which we get from our DNA. And then you have your, which are lifetimes and your ancestors, and then you have your soul. So all of these levels hold beliefs that we carry with us all the time. And from those 4 beliefs, we can move through 7 planes of existence through Theta Healing. Seven
Okay.
planes are basically, one is roles, is spirits. The 3rd level is you and I and the animals. Where we go when we cross over kind of is where we go. 4th plane. The 5th plane is all going up to where you come from home, your ascended masters, your archangel, Jesus, to this plane with the laws, and this plane is the creator. That spark that's in you is the spark you come from, which is the 7th plane of existence. It's the creator of all that is. So that's basically what the gist of Theta Healing is. But it goes off to many, many different ways where we're healing in different environments, such as disease and disorder, relationship courses, rhythm and weight, animals, plants, all different types of things. But you start out at the basic level of DNA to the advanced level of DNA to dig deeper, which are the 3 main core courses of Theta Healing. So that's what Theta Healing is really about. And I have been taking it, I think, since 2000. I'm not, and then I started teaching about almost 3 years or 2.5 years ago. And I absolutely love it. It's changed so many people's lives. It opens you up to your gifts. It releases so much just in the basic class. And then as you move higher and higher, you're just getting lighter and lighter and lighter concept and modality. And I love Vianna and Brandy and Josh, her family. They are both teaching her 2 children now. It's just such a beautiful, loving, caring environment for our tribe, so to speak. You know, it's like-minded people opening up even further and further to the creator.
Because I know, I mean, obviously Amy is one of your students, so she can talk about that too, about how it's changed things for her. And then I also want to talk about too, after Amy says talks, I also want to talk about what is possible for people when they're first starting. What's the first step But Amy can explain first. I'm jumping ahead. Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
Hey, you're just laying out the stepping stones. It's okay. So I can say, and this is actually really the first time, like really publicly, I've been able to share all of the goodness that I've gotten from Theta Healing. But so I can say it started with me. Obviously, we all have trauma, but for me, mine was going in this level that was so deep, what I was feeling and my emotions, that about 3 months before I had actually connected with Beth. Like I'd been sort of following her, on Facebook and just kind of watching, and somebody came in,
stalking her,
not so much stalking, but just watching, because for me, when I get into learning something new, I want to make sure that it's exactly what I need to step into, and that first of all, there's integrity with the teacher and the course. So that was huge for me. Like I didn't want any Band-Aid. I needed to get in. And Beth, so literally I woke up in the morning and I knew what the problem was. I was like, I want to travel so bad. And I was getting angry. And I know that came from past life for me, and knowing that having this stillness, I wanted to explore. And so it was a very real thing to me. And I reached out, I think it was like a Sunday morning, a little, like maybe a year and a half ago. And she's like, do you have like 5 minutes? And I'm like, actually I do. And it was the best 5 minutes. I mean, I felt automatic relief. So I was in a lot of like emotional pain with something that like wouldn't have even been real to other people. So I can tell you that in that 5 minutes, I was like, I'm in. I want this. Like, I got to do more of this. And so we just started talking more about, rather than kind of, I think, sessions. And then we did another session where literally Beth said, do you have another 5 minutes? Which actually I heard 5 minutes. It was more like 25 minutes. So literally I'm in the car. I'm going to the gym. I told my husband, I'm like, go into the gym. It'll be just a few minutes. So I'm actually squatting down in a doorway in a mall, right? Having this session with Beth, because it's like, I want it that bad. I don't care where I'm at. And literally so once I got through that and we did some of the work that we needed to do for that, I felt instant relief. And I think within several months, I was in my first class. And of course, I teach Reiki. Beth does as well. But when I sat up from the first, and is it considered an attunement, Beth, that we get? Initiation? What do they consider that?
Activation. It activates the DNA.
Yep. So I can tell you that we did those. She came along, she put some frankincense on my oil. She said, you need to tell your guides to get the heck out of here, so we had to do that. And then when I woke up from the activation, or I came to, I was literally speechless. And I remember Beth saying, like, are you okay? And I'm like, why am I even teaching Reiki? Like, why am I even doing this? And then she said, don't stop doing that, because it's all steps up. And so what I can tell you is, for years of doing readings, you have a lot of vows, contracts, and commitments that when you're a reader, you go into all of those planes. And as soon as you make connection with them, there's a connection. And for me, or a contract or a commitment or a vow, and I've been making these forever in my life. So when we went through, and Beth went through, and we started taking out all of these and removing these, I can't even tell you, a year later, I feel like a whole different person. I have more clarity with where I'm going, because all of these vows and commitments to all of these different planes was exhausting. So I now have more clarity. And we just actually went through another part of a class, and that was a big release for me too. So, so I can't even say enough, and that's really in a nutshell. But the clarity that I've gotten in my readings, the way that I'm connecting and commanding that this is how we're going to do it, which was the cool thing about Theta, is I loved being able to go in and command. I'll be honest, I like commanding. And when you realize that you do have that I don't know if I want to say authority, but when you're sovereign and you can command, then you know that what you're working with is exactly what you're working with, because so I can't even say enough.
Right.
I feel like such a more complete person. I feel like I understand my gifts at a I can't even tell you it to an extreme now. I understand, and I'm able to talk to my clients and allow them to understand different things that I wasn't able to do before. I've gotten to see a really dear friend of mine pass away, and I do believe it was because of Theta that I was able to get up there to see this individual get their wings, and to, and that's how it looked to me. So I believe that with Theta removing all of these contracts, vows, commitments, anything that I've created for myself, I was able to watch some things that not everybody else gets the chance to do. And obviously because I'm open, but because Theta has gone through and kind of rejuvenated my DNA, so to speak, I think.
Yeah.
Again,
Absolutely.
I can't even say enough
Absolutely.
about it. I love Beth. I love Beth.
I love you.
And she's an amazing teacher, and she's straightforward. And what I like about Theta too is they hold you accountable as a healer to make sure that you're doing things the appropriate way. Like, they don't mess around. And I really appreciated that about the Think Institute and what Beth brought to the table for me, because I know as a healer and trying to connect with other healers, a lot of times we think we have our shit together, but sometimes we don't. And so it's good to have that accountability, right? I mean, I'll be the first, if I don't have something together, I'll say I need to get it together, because I want things to work how they should be working at maximum capacity. So I think with, I do teach Reiki, and I use the International Center for Reiki to teach from. But what I can say is, and they are amazing, but what I found with Theta was there was a community that I haven't even met fully yet, that everybody's integrity and their values and their morals, and they really understand their work. It's an amazing thing. So, and with online classes, you can be anywhere and take classes with Beth. So it works out good.
Well, right now. Yeah, she's allowing us, just because COVID hit, the basic, advanced, and dig deeper, the main three core courses, she's allowed us to do. We had to have separate training with her directly, how she wanted it done and desired to be done. So we had to have additional training for each of them separately, to be able to teach online. And it really did help me, because I'm used to Zoom. I'm used to get online, but it is different when you have to teach, and keeping that energy together and solid and connecting and being able to see where the students are going, making sure they're going and playing. I have to be there in their space to see that. So being able to connect with people all over the world, at first was, I have to say, was a little like, oh my goodness, can I do this? And then I was like, oh, I got this. So I now, I've taken it called World Relations, and I speak to people all over the world now doing healings. And it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing to be able to connect. Yeah, it's opened up a whole new world for Theta. And Theta is, like you said, Amy, it's very professional. You're very professional as well. And so you get it. And it's not something that you can just come and have a session and think you've got Theta healing. That's not how it works. Right. Because it really works on you first.
I feel like it's about accountability.
Then it works for you to help people.
Yeah. Like it makes you accountable for it makes you accountable for everything that you couldn't possibly think you're accountable for. So it works that deep.
So I've got a question. Sorry, Aim. So my question is, for someone who is just starting their journey and they're listening and then going, Well, theta healing sounds really interesting. I have to be a little bit brave if I'm going to do this. It's going to bring up stuff that I probably have buried.
Oh, yeah.
So, what would you say to
Yeah.
someone who's first hearing and in the very beginning? So, what would you say?
I think from just
I would
because
say, oh, God, sorry.
Okay, it's okay. I couldn't tell. I got a delay on this end, but mine will be quick. I think just because I can just speak from my experience only is that it takes more energy to stay in your trauma year after year after year after year, right? You're brave to stay in that trauma. You're brave. But it takes, but what you get out of being in that trauma and releasing yourself from it is you have to be brave, because even if you go to a counselor, you might not get down to some of those levels that you need to get to. So you just have to be brave, and you just got to do it. Like, got to dive right in.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I tell you that you're right to be brave, because but you're supported being brave. I would never let you walk away from the trauma. We'll go and keep going until we can pull it out, so that every cellular memory of the trauma is moved. The memory is still there, but the cellular trauma that's stuck in the cells, we actually pull and remove, and it changes your life. And you start to realize it's not about the person that's doing to you, it's about what you're getting out of it and how it's serving you. So I really have seen so many people. I work with therapists, theta healers that are therapists. We have doctors that are theta healers. And I can tell you that I just recently had a session with a woman, and I did not know that she was depressed. But I was giving her a free 30-minute session so that she could understand what theta was about. And I do that all the time before people take classes, so that they can connect with me to see if I'm the right instructor, but also to connect them so that they can get some releases to really understand what they're stepping into. They're stepping into their soul self. And that's what this is. But I can tell you, the woman that I just got done working with, it was only supposed to be a 30-minute session. And I can tell you, on the phone for an hour and a half. And we did a lot of releases. And our guardian angel actually showed up. And I have pictures from when we were on the actual screen where it physically showed itself. She was overwhelming to see. But she wrote a little testimonial to me, and it's on my website. And she said, I went down and talked to my husband, and I'm not going to say it verbatim because I don't have it in front of me. She went down and said to her husband that she felt happy. And he said, well, what do you mean? And she said, spending 1 hour on the phone with Beth was like spending 6 months in therapy. And she got it done in an hour. And she woke up the next morning, went to her office, started going through everything on her desk, started finding things that she had just pushed away, and that was bringing abundance to her right then and there, where she was finding she was being overcharged for things. But she was so out of it, depression that she was held in from the trauma and the stress. By going through this, she was able to release so much at such a short period of time. I mean, I just see this every time I work on people. It's just phenomenal to work with the creator. It really is. And to work with people's guides and having their guides come in and go, take me. And that guardian angel went, no, take me. And I was like, creator, is this okay? And creator's like, yes, bring them. And I was like, okay. And we came in as we were done, straight across the screen at her. And we actually have a picture. And even after we were done, when all the lights were off, she actually took another picture in the blue light, and you could still see the figure behind her in the screen. It was absolutely stunning. just amazing to see. And I mean, I get to see that when I'm going up and when I'm coming down and when I work with people. But to be able to see it with our physical eyes, not our clear eyes, it was amazing. Absolutely amazing. To start out in Theta.
That is very cool.
Have a session.
Yep.
Yeah, having a session, coming to a free intro, having a free intro with all that's the way to find out about Theta. To be able to, have a session is awesome. Sometimes people don't want to do that. They want to jump right in. Basic is the way to start. That's where you start. You are in 3 days of 6 to 7 hours straight. You're totally engulfed in the Theta healing and that energy with people that are digging on you, removing so much just in class and learning fear, resentment, rejection, regret. I mean, you just start leveling up every hour. It's so wonderful to see them come up out of their space and fill with light. It's truly amazing to be a teacher, to see that. It's just awesome. And I love Reiki, and that's what I told Amy, is I love Reiki because it's a stepping stone for somebody that knows nothing about energy, that I have some of my practitioners that have gone back and took Reiki from me so that they could get more of a concept of the basic and foundations of energy. And then they were like, wow, this is amazing. And I have many mediums. One is Amy, and I have other mediums too. Some of them are animal communicators, some are physical mediumships. Some of them use their art in medium. They've come and worked with me, and it's changed their life in their mediumships because they're clearer. They work with clarity. They work with the creator. Their guides and their teachers have to stand within the creator's light when they're working on their clients. It really changes the set. So it's beautiful.
Speaking of some...
I can tell you that there's Reiki will change your life. The Theta, it's at such a higher frequency that I think, so it's literally been about 1.5 years since we really first connected. It does feel like a lot longer than that, Beth, actually, which is a good thing. But I can tell you that from the time I took the first class until right between the time, or until right at the time that I stepped into the third class, which is digging deeper, I can tell you that the frequency and the energy from Theta, I will tell you that it took a whole year to integrate those first 2 classes in to my work and my life. So we say it's full force, but it was also very gentle with me, where it allowed like a whole year of just like a soft transition. But even through that transition, I was able to receive a lot of information. So if you are a professional psychic, medium, channeler, healer, then you're also going to be learning a ton more about your practice because you're using your experience to assist other people with that. And I know it was after the second class. So many of you don't know that I almost lost my son due to being having a severe blood infection and gone misdiagnosed. And it was like probably the 4th time that we'd been sent home from the ER. Yeah. And I was tired, and he had Rickers, so his body was starting to give out. And so I sat on the side of his bed, and I just was like, okay, here we go. To have your permission. And Michael, of course, gave me permission to work with him. And I just remember being so tired that I went up to Creator, and I was like, it's commanded that Viana and Beth come up here because I'm so tired, but I need some information. And literally I could feel Beth's like left hand on my right shoulder, and I could feel Viana, her higher self, up there behind Beth. Like that's exactly what it looked like. And when I went in, I did not take the disease and disorder class, but what I look back now and realize is that I was tapping into some part of that. They were allowing me. So I said, show me inside of his body. And when I went in, it was jet black with one little red speck on the left side of his throat, which now ended up in the end being that black, from what I understand, and maybe you can validate this now, but that was them showing me the poisoning in the blood. And then the red speck was the blood clot in his left jugular, which was what was causing him to be so sick. So I said, get up, we're going back in. And I think if it hadn't have been for Theta, I probably would have taken him back in, but I wouldn't have been as for sure that my son was almost dying. So there was a lot to learn from that. So that's another story I can share, is that I may not have had what I needed as far as classes, but you are so connected with your teachers and with Viana that when you need them, you really can go in the etheric and pull them in. It might not be fun for them, but it's possible, because that's how connected and how much of a, even in that aspect, not just the physical, you're still connected with the other Theta. So there's so many levels. So anyways.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And you know, when you work with the classes help release more that you're holding on to. Each class, you release more and more and more and more from yourself. But in diseases and disorders, what you're doing is you're releasing a book about this thick with all kinds of diseases and you release them from yourself in class so that you can work on them with others. But it doesn't matter. Think of it this way. If you go to the Creator and you speak back and forth to the Creator will show you. The Creator will work with you. The Creator does the healing anyway. So the Creator just says, come with me and witness. And it's our job as Theta healers to go in with the Creator through that crown of that client and watch that healing being done. If it's being witnessed, it's being completed. And that's really what Amy was doing. And she was doing the work with the Creator. And the Creator was saying, here you go. This is information. Use it. Go for it. Because it is the highest truth. It's the way to figure things out. I mean, I go to the Creator everything. Like, is this the highest truth? Is this person telling me the highest truth? I always ask the Creator. And I know when it's wrong in my body. We all do. We all know that gut feeling. We have that intuition, and they're opening up more and more and more. But with Theta, it's like a spark of wow. When you start into this process, it's lifelong. It's forever. Yeah. It changed your life.
It's like drinking a whole new water.
Well, well, you know, the thing is that it's like before I even knew that AIM was doing the classes and stuff like that, I a long time ago had shared something that it was Diana Stiebel's, something that she had said, and I came across it like a few years later, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I apparently wasn't paying attention, or it wasn't meant for me at that time. But then AIM was telling me about Theta healing, and I had come across, excuse me, I had come across on YouTube Diana Stiebel, and it's a short little 5 or 6 minute thing where she says, I'm going to walk you up to the 7th plane of existence. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. So I have not gone any further than just, a certain levels or whatever. But then AIM was telling me about that she was doing this. I'm like, okay, so that sounds amazing. So I know that Theta healing, taking a class or whatever is in my future. I just had somebody actually message me saying that she's interested in taking the class. She goes, I have a trauma that I just need to get rid of, stuff like that. So I will put her in touch with you, Beth. So that's awesome. But awesome. I could listen to this and learn more and more about it all the time. I think that there's there's just so much to talk about and to understand that, but it's very simple at the same time, right?
Yes, very simple. It's simpler than what you think. Some people use it just to work on themselves. Other people use it to work on others as clients. It is very abundant. I can tell you that whatever you are supposed to do, whether it's Reiki, whether it's polarity, whether it's theta healing, you're in service, you're taken care of. And if you're in your heart space, the Creator takes care of you. And the Creator has brought everything to me, and I am so grateful for everything that has come my direction. And people that I have met, I mean, it just touches my heart. I mean, I can't even begin to tell you, to see healings like this be done. It's extreme. And I mean, I do other things. I do Reiki. I do psychic awareness classes. I do animal for Reiki. I do children. I do a lot of different things. I'm a hospice volunteer. I sit quick response while people are dying. That is being in theta healing. That has totally changed my sitting with individuals that are dying. Totally has changed it. I have walked in and I've had somebody, you know, they're unresponsive when you walk in, and because they're dying, and you're sitting there for days, 4 hours at a shot with those people. I've had them say, "Who are you?" They're just laying there. They're not talking. They talked for 24, 48 hours, but their higher self is talking to you. And I've had them say, "I don't need you. Why are you here?" And I respond, "I'm here for your family. They don't want you to be alone." Well, I'm not alone. You can see all people. And I laugh and I'm like, I can see them, but they can't see them. I said, so I'm here as support for them. So It's interesting what it's actually done for me. And I love it. I love being able to assist anyone, and even people that are around other people that are dead. You know, they've lost their window. They need to be moved on. Amy does this stuff too. You know, we become a channel for all kinds of things. And theta healing helps with that. Yeah, most of it was gifts I've always had, but it just isn't, it enhanced them. And it changes who you are.
Yes.
Literally. And I mean, physically, even it changes. I've had people come to me and go, "You're not the person I've been following. Even your picture, you're not the same." And I'm not. I mean, I've lost, probably 3 dress sizes, but I haven't lost a pound, not 1 pound. I'm still the same weight. It's the density that changed. So you see me, look, but also with theta healing, when we activate the youth hormone, the vitality hormone in basic, you just start getting younger because the telomeres start to heal in your DNA. So
I told you it's
there's
the
some
water.
benefits to
you.
water.
So I have a question, and this is for both of you. So I know, since I have not taken theta healing myself, I've done the meditation, things like that. But I know, as a psychic medium, Reiki master teacher, I deal a lot of times also with cleansings and blessings. Now, I will tell you that seems to be something that I feel like I started going to a chiropractor who is very, very much into energy work, which I'm absolutely loving. But my question is that he could tell, he asked me about my body, like, you know, how they always do when you go to see a new doctor, you know, what have you injured or whatever. He said that what I said on my paper, and then when he went in and was trying to do the manipulation, he said it was totally different. And I said, well, why do you think that is? He goes,
Yes.
it's the job that you do. It's the work that you do. And so this brings the question is that, you know, I can try to use Reiki to protect myself. I can do different things. And I have been trying my best to go up to the creator to ask for protection and stuff like that. But I'm finding as I'm becoming more of a physical medium that it is like hitting me hard. And I am trying the very best I can to not hold on to that, to do things to try and get rid of that energy and it's become more challenging. I mean, and I know I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people who do the things that we do. So I know probably you're going to say I recommend the basic or whatever, but what are your thoughts on that? Because people in general can be, you know, their energy is hijacked all the time.
I think that, first of all, protection has its own content, right? Protection means safety. I want to be safe. I want to protect myself. In energy today, I think a lot of people will agree with me, but there may be some out there that disagree. There is no form of protection. Our energy is everywhere. Okay? But when we fill ourselves up with light and we expand that light, I have a meditation I just to a lady in Mexico before I got on. How to expand that light from the creator, from Mother Earth, expand it out 6 feet around your body and walk out the door. And you will never have that feeling of bringing in those people's thoughts and feelings, because as we're all empathic, all of us are. It's because our energy touches everybody, but it's supposed to. We're supposed to be able to connect with everyone's energy, but we're not supposed to take it off. We're supposed to allow that to go through and not stay in us. So I believe in filling up with the light into your heart space from Mother Earth and bringing it up and bringing it in from the creator and melting that in the middle in your heart space. And then expanding that column of white light that's there all the way out 6 feet to your body, all the way around 360 above and below. And when you do that, what it actually does is set programs. So when those negative thoughts, they bounce off of you. And when they bounce off of you, a lot of people are touched by your light. You're turning them on. You may not even know it, but that light is touching those people's cells. And that is expanding them. It's expanding them and you may not even know it. But it's really important to be in our heart space, not on that energy, but to send out that love energy and that compassion without judgment to people. And that's a hard thing, judgment. We have judgment for the tiniest little things. But when we fill up for love, it's awesome because people feel it. What about you, Amy?
Oh, that's wonderful. Aim, what do you think?
As far as I'm agreeing with everything because I'm even feeling the theta energy from here. Like,
I'm sending it out.
I might be too, or it's a hot flash.
No. So I think, well, back to your original question about that. So what I can say is I agree. That's part of some of the things that one of the major things that has shifted for me. And okay, so I guess what I want to add is just validation. So going through COVID, okay, like there's a ton of empaths that are coming up. Like they have sort of like we have nothing to do but to sit around and think about how much we think about things. And now we need some help with it. So it's kind of bringing things to the surface for a lot of people. And for me, I'm blessed that I had and grateful that I had theta when I did, because it took me to a totally different place during COVID to allow me to release a lot that wasn't working. So if you use the theta in combination with, I don't know, planetary alignment, and if you like the more you get into it, and like for me, I was using like COVID, like, okay, we're going out of town, we're taking a break because we can do that, and that's okay. where before I might have felt like I needed to stay and keep things like afloat. And this time I was like, not today. I'm out of here. Like everybody else can be in fear and all of this, but I'm done. So I was able to go away. And then when I came back realizing, you know, because Beth and I just talked yesterday about like my business direction, and I haven't, I guess officially I'm making it official to let people on the outside know that I'm just taking my work from a physical location now and bringing it online. So that's what it's done for me, is it's taken all of the things that I want and the things that I desire, and it's pulled me back enough to realize like I don't have to push, and that maybe this is what I want, but maybe Creator has a totally different game plan on how to get that, right? So now I'm listening more, and I'm more able to easily make, and I have, I mean, and I think for me, I've always been able, I don't want to say to disconnect from people, but once the energy isn't right anymore, it's not right. I'm not messing around. So that's what I know is now that as I'm able to take all of that light that comes out and travel very safely and be very aware without, the light is like my filter for what the messages that I need for myself, because I think as empaths, I know for a while I would get a ton of information. And if like for a while I had a lot of people working in my office, they were holding their own space there. So what I realized was some of my things were getting muddled empathically and intuitively with some of their stuff because I didn't have those boundaries. You know what I mean? I didn't understand fully what was happening. Yeah. So being able to take a step back from that. And like I said, it was the timing of when I took the classes for me to be in the headspace and heart space of what I needed to do, like over the last couple of months. And so I'm really excited to now be able to have the time to step into more theta, where before I didn't have the time to do that. So it's allowed me, like, so I've said, Creator, like, here's what I desire. And I know that you desire the same because I think we're pretty connected. So I'm ready. Just you lead the way now. So I hope that makes sense. And it just to sort of validate what Beth is saying, it's like it lets things release with gentleness and ease. And then what I've noticed too is that some people, so people that have maybe been around me for the last couple of years, and then they see this shift of like, why is she pulling away? I'm not pulling away. I'm just stepping onto where I need to be. So, you know, I hope that makes sense.
Yeah. Well,
again,
I think
just my experience.
I have
it
to.
Does.
I'd like to say that you know, Amy knows I have a separate group for the Theta practitioners, and we do that. I do that for them with the Creator's blessing, that it's there for support. And I offer a lot of different things for free of my time, especially during COVID. I asked Creator, what am I supposed to do? I mean, I can't do it. What am I going to do? Yeah. And then Creator says, get online. And I was like, I don't want to do that. And Creator's like, you'll be fine. And I started doing it on Tuesdays and Thursdays for like an hour of doing nothing but downloads, because viruses are attracted to fear and unworthiness. So I worked, that's what Creator wanted me to work with, is showing them that they are worthy, showing them that they are loved, and kept taking them back and forth to the Creator. And I did that for weeks on end. I just stopped recently from doing that twice a week. And then at one point in that, the COVID, I went up to meditation. I said, Creator, is there anything else I should do? And the Creator said, yes, fun day. Have a fun day, make them laugh. And I'm like, well, I'm not a comedian. I don't know how to make them laugh. And Creator says, come up with an idea. And I was like, okay. So my first thing was, we all wore crazy hats one day and laughed. And then we wore crazy glasses one day and laughed. And it made everybody feel good. Everybody was just chatting and laughing and having a good time. That's what they desired. They needed to release her. But, you know, I really am supportive my people probably too much of a mother bird, but I want to help people. I want them to feel like I'm there not only for them personally, but I'm also there to help them succeed with healing. I want to see them succeed. I want them to have clients. I want them to become teachers. I want them to do those things, but I want to help them. So I'm always doing things forever. I just finished 2 hours with them with the Lion's Gate, and we're going to do 2 hours with listening skills. I just come up with ideas from the creator and we go with them. So you are supported. I do support you for sure.
I will say that as well, because, and maybe I might just psychically sneak into Beth. I try not to do that. I really try not to do that, but I can tell you, she caught me in class zooming right into her, and I was like, I didn't even know I did it. And but the support, that's the thing too, is it's taught me actually how to support my Reiki students better. So by me shifting my work, now I'm able to, like, so Beth as a mentor through Theta, and obviously we're doing the same work, so being able to shift, like Beth showing me what it's like to support has allowed me to be able to give that to my clients or my students. And the other thing is she's not kidding when she tells you that she is there, because there could be times over the last year since taking the classes that I'll be sort of like, kind of like, sometimes I'll replay class, and then all of a sudden I'll hear Beth say, would you like to release that? And I'm like, yep. And Beth is like, what, an hour and a half away from me. So I'm literally laying in my bed in the morning and I hear Beth like, would you like that download now? Yes, please. And it's, so she really, and it's not creepy, it's not weird, but that's the power of what she can offer to people that want to take this class to heal themselves and to take that into the community. Because I'm not kidding you, when I said I went into Theta with my son, I literally could feel both of them there. So that is the extent, not even just the physical, but just like, and it's not creepy when you hear her say that either. It's like, oh, yes, I want to release that, or yes, I'll take that download. So she's not kidding you when she tells you she stays professionally connected with you through this whole process. So
that's awesome.
Well, I think
that's awesome.
I also think a lot is
for you.
The creator. Yeah, the creator also will ping me. I'll get pinged, like Amy, or contact Charlie, or contact Vanessa. I'll get a ping, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I'll just messenger. Hey, how's it going? And they're like, oh, you know you. And I'm like, no, I don't know, but I'm getting a ping. So what's up? It's wonderful. Yeah. It really is.
Well, Beth, I wanted to ask you, so when you guys are, I know what it is, but when you guys are talking about downloads, we're getting close to the end of the show, and I wanted to give people an idea when you're talking about downloads, what that is, and how would you like to close out the show? What do you have to say? Your last word, I guess, sort of.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'd like to do a download for everybody that they can accept, and at this time, and it just really makes you feel good from the creator. And then I also would like to offer anybody that says that they listen to the show, or Julie or Amy, I'd be happy to offer a 10% love discount to any class that they would like to take as well. So let's go ahead and ask the creator to download everybody with unconditional love, with worthiness, with grace, with the ability to connect with love, with grace, ability to have your abundance for you with grace and ease, with the ability to open up your hearts to receive the love healing from the creator of all that is, and to know that there are others out there that can help at any time. Reach out. Be a part of your tribe. Be a part of this new existence that we have here on earth, that we are all here for a reason. Open it up. Be ready. and receive. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, that's kind of what a download
Amazing.
is.
Thank you.
It comes from the creator.
Yeah. I think that's awesome. And, again, all the links for Beth are in the comments for her Facebook page, Instagram, and evolvingyourenergy.com, which you can see by her name right there. She does do mentoring, the classes for Theta Healing and Reiki, and so much more. So please feel free to connect with her. If you're watching this in the replay, #replay, and if you have questions or whatever, and you can get in touch directly with her or Amy or me, and we can send messages her way to connect you. So, gosh, Beth, thank you so much today. Amy, thank you so much for being here. It was wonderful.
Fun.
Thank you so much.
You guys all
really
take care. And thanks for everybody
Thank you
for
very
joining
much
today. And you guys all take care.
Yes.
You are very welcome. Thank you.